Hey Facebook, how you doing? Welcome to Grassroots video number 3, and today I want to talk about crowdfunding, specifically Kickstarter, which is likely the platform we're going to take Stadium of Mind to get funded. But not too long ago, I started doing some basic just questions of certain demographics to see if they understood what crowdfunding was, because we're going to need a big fan base to fund this film. And I want to make sure people have a grasp on what crowdfunding is and what Kickstarter is, so that we're all synced up. And I was surprised. I talked to some college kids, about 25 college kids, and of those 25 college kids, only 2 of them even knew what Kickstarter was. I've also gotten emails and phone calls, quite a few actually, over the last several weeks. And many of those phone calls centered around, so I've heard of this Kickstarter thing. What is it exactly? So there needs to be an awareness out there, about what Kickstarter is, about what crowdfunding is, so that we can be successful with our campaign. And I thought I could kind of step you guys through with just a couple basic examples of how we're going to do this. So crowdfunding is when a crowd, meaning you, of people get around a project and fund it. Okay, so that's in its basic core. However, there's a catch, and I think it's really fun, and that is you get prizes in return. So let's say a project is going to try to get funded for $10,000, okay, and it's a creative project. Somebody wants to write a book, and they say, okay, if you give me a $10 pledge to help me write my book, I will give you a copy of the book. For $50, I'll mention a character in the book after you. For $500, I'll give you 10 copies of the book, and I'll gift wrap it the whole nine. And so basically there's different types of pledge levels that you can help fund a project through, and it just depends on your personal interest if you like that prize or not. Now, not all that money goes towards the creative project, because obviously there's typically a physical good or some type of service, I guess you could call it, provided for that prize level. So there is a cost to it, to the project, okay? So for Stadium of Mind, our minimum fundraising goal is $580 grand. So if we're successful in raising $580 grand, we're not gonna see all $580 grand of that. Because first off, there's a service fee that of course goes back to Kickstarter, and it's approximately 10%. So if you take the hard cold number of 580, that means they get back 58 grand. But they provide a wonderful service. I have no problem with that. They're running the business. Then there's also the cost of the prizes to go back to you, the fans. And we're happy to pay that because, one, it helps create interest, or sorry, not pay that, but spend the money to put out really neat prizes, because it helps spread the word about the effort even further. I mean, you make the whole experience fun. So for Stadium of Mind, some examples on Kickstarter, and these are just a very few examples of what we're likely going to do, is things like one of them is going to be a digital download of the film for $5. Now, I've done a lot of research in crowdfunding sites, and I think I've come across one instance where somebody was below 25 bucks for a digital download of the finished feature film. Well, we're going to do it for $5, just $5. And that's because we think the film has a very powerful message. So that's a really neat pledge level. So if somebody comes in, puts their credit card down for $5, if we're successful funding our project, they will receive a digital download of the finished film. So that's a prize. And you help fund our project, and you get something in return. Now, some of the other neat prizes that we're going to be pursuing is, and I'm going to hold this up here, movie premieres. Hopefully you can see these tickets. Movie premieres at various different theaters. And really the fans are going to probably dictate where these theaters are going to be at. But if a theater has 200-300 seats, and a fan is interested and says, I really love this project and I want to help you get behind it, they can actually come to us and say, can you create a pledge level? I'd like to do a film premiere at XYZ town, my hometown, and I think I can help you sell a lot of pledges to help fill up that theater. Okay, so that's an example of ways that you can help us raise money and get something in return that could be really fun for you and your friends. Another real basic example is the t-shirt that I'm wearing. Okay, now this is probably not going to be a prize on Kickstarter unless you guys tell me otherwise, but we would give t-shirts as an example for a prize. And behind me, I hope you can see it, we've got a poster back here of a girl kicking a soccer ball. We're going to be giving up, 18 by, I think it's 18 inches by 24 inches printed posters that we could give out as prizes. And on and on and on. And there's going to be some really neat ones for Stadium of Mind Be that, send your props in to be in the movie. Also come into visiting the set to, be part of the experience and see how we make this movie magic. And there's literally going to be quite a few prizes. And I'm excited about this, but that's how we fund the film, okay, is through fans looking at the different various pledge levels from $1 all the way up to $10,000, which is the limit on Kickstarter, and they find something that's agreeable to them. And by making that pledge, they can help fund the effort. Now here's the one big catch, and stick with me, okay? Nobody pays anything unless we are successful. So if you're a person who says, I'll put $500 down or I'll put $5 down, you're actually not going to get charged anything, zero, okay, unless we reach our minimum, at the very minimum fundraising goal on Kickstarter. So that's really neat, and that Kickstarter is an all or nothing proposition, and that the fans can get behind it, make their pledge, and then when it comes to the final day of the campaign, Kickstarter sends out an email, if it looks like we are successful and we're past our fundraising goal, they send out one last email that says, okay, we're about to tap your credit card, are you still in? More or less is what they do. So I like that because it takes the stress off the fans. I mean, really, you're only betting on a winner, okay? And if you win, if the project is successfully funded and you stick to your pledge, you get something in return for that. Not only did you help fund this really cool project, from my perspective, but you get something in return. You would obviously get, the digital download of the finished film if you were at least at a $5 pledge. Plus, you might get many other really cool prizes. And pretty soon we're going to be sharing what those prizes are going to be, and we're going to look for your feedback. But I wanted to first cover what the heck crowdfunding is and what Kickstarter is. And I would recommend going to Kickstarter.com, see the address right here, Kickstarter.com, and visit it and start exploring some creative projects. To date, there's been over 15,000 film and video projects that have been successfully funded on Kickstarter. So we're going to the right place. And we're going to need your help to fund it. And I hope this was very helpful for you to get a better understanding of how crowdfunding works and how you can help make a real difference. Looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks much.